Hi, welcome to my channel Organized with Joy. I'm Joy and I want to inspire you to get organized. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a little makeover on my laundry room here, and I will also be cleaning this space.
Tells you to do what your heart says to do, don't be shy.
So I decided to take the fluorescent light down in my laundry room, and it kind of just propelled me into this whole little makeover here where I decided to go ahead and remove the popcorn ceiling from this space since it was such a small space. I've never done this before. We have hired people to remove some of our popcorn ceiling, but I just wanted to give it a try. And so here I'm starting this process. I just wet the ceiling with some water, and then I'm using this tool to scrape the popcorn off the ceiling. I actually started this process quite a while ago. It was back in August that I first started this project, but there were definitely several setbacks with what I was trying to do in here, which you'll see later on in the video, and that is why it's not being posted until November. Okay, so as you can see, I am a hot mess. I think I've got like dust in my hair. I forgot to turn the camera on when I was vacuuming up everything. I did take pictures because I was posting it to Instagram, so I'll insert pictures of what it looked like, but it was definitely a huge mess. And there's still a mess here even though I've vacuumed up a good portion of it. So as you can see, it's still all over the place. Particularly like back by the washer and dryer. I'm probably gonna have to move them to clean thoroughly, but it's still a pretty big mess.
Like torches hand by hand. I will do what I have to find love, I will find you. I will find love, I'll do what I have to, and you'll find me too.
After I was done cleaning, I'm just repairing these holes that were in the ceiling from where the fluorescent light was screwed into the ceiling, and I'm just using this wall repair stuff. You just put like a little screen over the hole, and then you use this wall repair stuff. It's kind of like putty to fix the ceiling.
Feel the miles passing under our feet. No place to be, ready to conquer the unknown. Heart is racing quickly.
Okay, so now I'm gonna be putting up some plastic all over this room so that I can do the texture spray on the ceiling. After the mess that I made with the popcorn ceiling, I realized that that is what I should have done before I started the popcorn, peeling off the popcorn ceiling, because it would have contained the mess and I wouldn't have had to do the cleanup. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And usually for painting jobs, I use the blue tape, that traditional blue tape, to tape everything off. But I did get some of this frog tape because I've heard that it's a really good product. And I was afraid, especially taping the plastic up by the ceiling and taping it, I guess, vertically, that it wouldn't stay in place if I just used the blue tape. So I'm gonna give this frog tape a try. And this is what I looked like after I did some sanding on the ceiling, just to smooth it out. It was definitely a process. And this is what the ceiling is looking like before I do any of the texture spray. So next up is texture spray. Okay, so this is end of day 2, I guess day 3 if you count the day that I actually took the light fixture down. That's why I'm a complete mess though, because this project has been more difficult than I anticipated. I actually had to change clothes because I had gotten some of that ceiling spray on my clothes and I had to rinse them out. But basically the can of ceiling texture spray that I had purchased, I think it might be defective or something. I could not get it to work. And so I ended up actually going and getting some other texture spray that my husband had bought several years ago. He was going to try to remove the popcorn ceiling from our half bath, which he successfully did, but then didn't finish the project. And then when we had contractors come in and remove the texture from our game room, they also removed it from, or I'm sorry, since that was removed from the bathroom, they went ahead and textured the bathroom ceilings as well. So had that texture spray. It worked well, but it just wasn't enough coverage. So now I'm gonna have to go back to Home Depot. I'm probably just gonna return that can and tell them I'm fairly certain it's defective, and then get another can. But it's kind of frustrating because it has to dry for 4 to 6 hours. So I'm gonna be without my laundry room yet another day. because I'll probably have to let it dry after I complete that project tomorrow, and then it'll be the following day that I can actually paint. So this is definitely a project. But whenever you do something for the first time, that is bound to happen. You don't know all of the little things that can and will go wrong. So it's just a learning process. And that is part of the reason why I chose to do that in such a small space, because if I had tried to tackle my kitchen or my living room or something like that, it probably would have been much more overwhelming. So I'm glad I tried it here. And I thought about doing another space after I had removed the ceiling, but now that I'm this far into the project, I'm not so sure that I want to do it myself. In the future, might just have to save up to hire someone to do that, because this is a lot of work. Well, it's not looking amazing. It's not perfect, but I am okay with it given that it's just a laundry room. But I have a huge mess to clean up here. And this stuff is very difficult to use. So it worked. The first can I got didn't really work at all. It just kind of dripped out. It wasn't spraying up. And then this can, it worked for a while, but I had it set on the finest setting and it still was coming out kind of clumpy in my opinion. We had this on hand because my husband was going to remove the popcorn ceiling from our half bath and retexture it, and he never ended up retexturing it, so I used this. And their previous model, or whatever you want to call it, worked way better. The way it came out and the way the ceiling looked is exactly what I was expecting, but they don't make this model anymore. This is just how the design is now. And so this worked for a while, and then it just started coming out, the handle and everything. So I am okay with just leaving it as it is and painting it. And I'll see what it looks like after it's painted. I may have to come up with a different plan to retexture it if it's really bad. But truthfully, that's the reason why I started in the laundry room, because, you know, it's not really some place people go into, so it's not that big of a deal that it's not perfect.
Now that I've got your life, I won't let it go to waste. Time was told me we're scared the most of these things we can't.
Once the texture spray was dry on the ceiling, then I was able to paint it, and I just used this ceiling paint that I had left over from when I painted the ceiling in our game room, and it is the same color that's on the wall in the laundry room, but I ran out of paint pan liners, and so there you'll see I had just used some plastic wrap to wrap my paint pan. That just makes it easy to clean up, and I'm kind of wondering if that's more cost effective than buying the plastic paint pans. So just something to think about if you're planning to paint anytime soon.
Turn to the dust and dirt where I belong. Pray my love will linger on. Pray my love will linger on. For all my days, for all my days. Now that I've got your love, I won't let it go to waste. For all my days, for all Wake up, new morning. Cold air fills my lungs. The sun begins to rise. You rub your tired eyes. Wake up, wake up. True north is calling. Compass needle guides our way. We fold these tattered maps into our canvas packs. Onward we go. With every single step, refreshed with every breath. Onward we go. All this time we wanted on our own. Away we go, away we go, away we go. Fearlessly we face the great unknown. Away we go, away we go, away we go. When I was young, left my mark on these mountains, aching for the time to come, to find myself inside, removed from fear and pride. Onward I go, my fickle-hearted cries to see celestial skies. Onward I go. All this time we wanted on our own.
As you can see from all the outfit changes, this was definitely a multi-day process to get this project done, but this is certainly not going to be a tutorial on how to install light boxes, because this totally did not work. I did watch several YouTube videos and read some information on how to do this, but for whatever reason it didn't work. I think the hole was too big because the existing hole was already there from the previous light fixture, and so it was hard to get the correct size for the light fixture box. But you'll see what I end up having to do in the end.
All this time we wanted on our own. Away we go, away we go, away we go. All this time we wanted on our own. Away we go, away we go, away we go.
And here I did have to touch up the paint on the wall because the ceiling paint is a different sheen than the wall paint. So I was just going through and touching this up. It is the same color, just obviously when you paint, at first it looks like a different color before it dries.
Oh, this vision does me good. Metamorphosis changing my ways, straight conviction for you. Say what's it mean? What's the purpose? We're scratching the surface. Return to the dawn of age. Who am I? What's my name? Does it even matter anyway?
And here I just had to show you the huge mess that projects like this create. I just wanted to show you kind of behind the scenes and show you when I was cleaning it up, because it definitely was time consuming to do the behind the scenes stuff. The prepping and cleaning up always takes more time than we think.
Disguised in the breeze, constantly changing just to stay the same thing. Wondering if since whole I've known, guide me home. Will the weight of the lies gave way too
next, I just worked on getting this laundry room put back together. Obviously here I'm just reinstalling this vent, and then I also needed to hang up any decor that I had in this room.
Take the long way home, stumble through the street.
This footage was actually taken a couple of months after the previous footage, and that is just because I put this project on the back burner as I was working on other projects around the house. I was trying to figure out how to remedy the problem I had with the junction box, but ultimately we decided to go ahead and hire an electrician to come install one for us. Another setback that I had was that I had to find a new light fixture for this space because the base of the light fixture wasn't big enough to cover up that hole that was there.
Well, the weight of the lies gave way to the truth. I don't care where I'm going, babe, as long as I'm going there with you.
Oh my goodness, y'all. I decided to leave this footage in here, but just speed it up really fast because, you know, installing light fixtures is not difficult in that it's very easy to connect the right parts together to get the light to function. What can be challenging is actually installing the light, like getting it up there. You'll see in a minute here, I obviously could have used some help as I'm like trying to hold it up with my arm and screw in the screws with my other hand. So it was definitely a little bit challenging, but in the end, I did get it done. And here I just had to show you how small these screws were. I was trying to balance these little tiny screws and get them screwed in while holding up the light fixture. So, like I mentioned, it was a bit of a challenge.
Well, I've been restless, my demon said. These eyes of mine are hide the sins burning beneath.
After getting a light completely installed, it's always a little bit scary to test to make sure the light actually works. So I was thrilled to see, yes, the light did in fact work. So there is one little problem. I thought that that top piece would be big enough to cover up the hole, but I realized you can't really control where the connector piece is, so it doesn't fully cover up that hole. Luckily, it's only visible from the inside of the laundry room, but I probably should have that repaired at some point or figure out a way to reposition that inner piece. So we'll see. And here I just wanted to show you the after shots of what this room looked like when I was finished with it. And honestly, I'm not even so sure how I feel about this light. I was on the fence when I purchased it. It is a pendant. It's not really a light fixture for a room per se, but you'll have to let me know in the comments what you think about this light fixture for my laundry room. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope it gave you some sort of motivation or inspiration to work on something around your house. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.